everybody, I'm QB for Culturalist Theory, and with the Grammys right around the corner, we decided to drop some award-related lists. In this video, we are ranking the 10 R&B albums of the year from 2000 to 2009, winners only. We are not taking into consideration in this one whether the Grammys got it right, just who got the Grammys, and ranking them from worst to first. Obviously, they're each standout albums, but we'll tell you which ones stand out the most in this decade of music. Hit the thumbs up if you like what you see, subscribe if you love it, leave a comment, and don't be afraid of that super thanks button. With that out the way, let's get to it. Number 10, Chaka Khan, Funk This. Of course, Chaka is an icon, but that's another video. For now, we'll keep it brief. Right in the title, she tells you it's not R&B. Sure, R&B has some funk roots, but in 2008, when this album won R&B Album of the Year, the genre had a completely different sound. Think about some of your favorite songs from 2008. Matter of fact, let us know what they were in the comments, but we're pretty sure that they weren't any from this record. That said, this was Chaka's 11th solo project, and she worked primarily with fellow industry vets Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis to produce Funk This. She offers grungier vocals to kick off the album, but her range is still insane. So when you're in the mood for something that's simultaneously nostalgic and somewhat contemporary, you can reach for this record. Number 9, Jennifer Hudson. Jennifer Hudson. J Hud didn't have to be number 1 on American Idol to be a winner. And arguably one of the most successful idols, Jennifer Hudson's self-titled 2008 debut came out swinging. It had to in order to follow up her star turn in 2006's Dreamgirls. So she worked with Missy, Salaam Remi, and Neo among others to bring this project to life and release it on Clive Davis's J Records. Grammy-nominated Spotlight is probably the most memorable track from this number 2 debut, and you can skip right over that so-called duet with T-Pain, but if you go deeper, you'll find highlights like My Heart, which was withdrawn as a single following the tragic murders of Jennifer Hudson's family members, Gospel Tinge, You Pulled Me Through, and I'm His Only Woman featuring Fantasia, which gives big Barbara This Is Shirley vibes. Jennifer was on a roll and continued her winning streak by picking up this trophy to add to the collection. Number 8, Luther Vandross, Dance With My Father. By 2004, Luther Vandross had been in the game for 35 years. His silky voice had been the soundtrack to many relationships, whether long gone or lasting, undercover or open book. This is a definitive R&B album, that is, rhythm and blues. It's very traditional in subject matter and song construction. If not for the velvety Vandross vocals, it could be called formulaic. The features from Foxy Brown on If It Ain't One Thing, Busta Rhymes on the Lovely Day remake, there's a part 1 and part 2 by the way, Queen Latifah with bars on Hit It Again, and other updates don't do much to add value to their tracks on this 67-minute project. The Beyonce duet, The Closer I Get to You, Think About You, and the title track are worth revisiting though. Dance With My Father was up against the Isley Brothers, Aretha Franklin, Erykah Badu, and Plu Cantrell. It's hard to see how these acts fit into the same category at the same time, but makes it clear how out of touch the Academy is with the culture. Made more special by being the final album released by the crooner, Album of the Year was one of 4 Grammys won out of 5 nominations for Dance With My Father. Number 7, D'Angelo, Voodoo. After a 4.5-year hiatus following his debut album Brown Sugar, D'Angelo released Voodoo. This is another sophomore project that got a lot of attention. Buoyed by the hit single Untitled How Does It Feel and a steamy video to go with it, D'Angelo had to be the sexiest singer in neo soul at the time, and he had the songwriting to match. In the studio, he had the Soulquarians and Jay Dilla to help him craft the sound that went against the poppy R&B music of the time as D'Angelo saw it. Check out the other singles from this project, Devil's Pie and Send It On for reference. The sky was the limit, and that may have been the problem. This platinum-selling album had D'Angelo on a whirlwind that made him uncomfortable. He grew either or both unable and unwilling to keep up with it, and the hiatus went from 4 years to 14 until we got his next Grammy-winning album. Number 6, TLC, Fan Mail. Speaking of hiatus, following a down period of 5 years up and through bankruptcy, medical concerns, and other issues, Fan Mail is a love letter back to the fans who wrote the messages that got one of the best-selling female groups of all time through a rough patch. Its futuristic vibe and visuals are very Y2K, an attempt to confront and shrug off some of those aforementioned issues of the 90s. Longtime collaborator and Chili's boyfriend at the time, Dallas Austin's fingerprints are all over this album, though the stronger cuts are the ones where he was more hands-off. Case in point, No Scrubs. This was easily their biggest hit in years, spending 4 weeks at number 1 on the Hot 100. And we're sure you already know it was written by Candy Burris and Tamika Tiny Cottle of Escape and produced by Shakespeare Briggs. Unpretty spent 3 weeks in the same position. Though co-written by Austin, the song was based on poems written by T-Boz. And Dear Lie, which was written by Babyface and T-Boz. Those first 2 songs helped to gas this album to diamond status and take home the gold as the first R&B album of the year of the new millennium. Number 5, Mary J. Blige, The Breakthrough. This was a comeback album of sorts for MJB, the MVP. It was her 7th 11th album, and after a couple of mediocre projects, fans were eager to have Mary back, helping to break through to debut at number 1. But it wasn't the same old sad Mary. She had found a new love at the time and was making music about it. Lead single Be Without You let you know just how in love she was, followed by Enough Crying and Take Me As I Am to emphasize she was turning over a new leaf. For those looking for classic Mary on this 72-minute project, she offered Alone and Ain't Really Love. Even her rap alter ego Brooke Lynn got a few bars in on Gonna Break Through and the aforementioned Enough Crying. This album is good because Mary doesn't lean too far in any one direction, still maintaining balance as she evolves. This project performed well with fans and critics alike, going triple platinum and racking up 8 Grammy nominations with 3 wins, including this one. Check out our Mary ranking to see where we rank The Breakthrough. Number 4, India.Arie, Voyage to India. Undeterred by snub after snub after snub on her 7-time Grammy-nominated debut album, Arie got right back to work to create Voyage to India, perhaps one of her strongest bodies of work to date. You can let us know if you want to see the India.Arie ranking coming up too. But on this one, she delivers more smooth and sensual vocals that are empowering and intimate. Lead single Little Things emphasizes the importance of counting your blessings and treasuring the intangibles over trophies. But the Academy decided to bless her with one anyway. Little Things won her first Grammy, this one for Best Urban Alternative Performance. The album has other songs to check out too, like The Truth and Can I Walk With You. And in this male-dominated category, including music and Joe, she managed to walk away with a well-deserved win. Number 3, John Legend, Get Lifted. John Legend has spent a few years behind the scenes before hitting us in the fields with his debut album, Get Lifted. Obviously steeped in years of church and soul traditions, Legend's voice cut through whether on Lace productions by Kanye West, Devo Harris, and Dave Tozer, or stripped down piano tracks with the family. Get Lifted's track list includes songs about the ups and downs of relationships, from infidelity and inconsistency to infatuation and intimacy. Coming from a hip-hop label, there are sure to be hip-hop influences, but the features are limited to Ye on number 1 and Snoop on I Can Change. They play well with the tenor and themes of the album without coming off as contrived as with some of the other albums on this list. Legend was able to blend many styles into music that was familiar yet fresh. The lead single, Used to Love You, was a little primer, but it was Ordinary People that really set things off. The song by itself received 3 Grammy nominations, Song of the Year, Best R&B Song, and winning for Best Male R&B Vocal Performance. Other standouts include She Don't Have to Know, produced by will.i.am, So High, and Live It Up. The album overall received 9 Grammy nods, even beating out Stevie Wonder and Earth, Wind & Fire to get this one right here for R&B Album of the Year. And it's worth a listen if it's been a while. Come to think of it, we need to get that John Legend ranking up too. Where would you rank this one? Number 2, Alicia Keys, Songs in A Minor. Remember those 7 snubs we mentioned India.Arie got in 2002? Well, Alicia Keys' Songs in A Minor was responsible for 5 of them. Being only the second solo female artist to win 5 Grammys in one night put Keys in rare air, a feat that hadn't been done since Miss Lauryn Hill in '99. Songs in A Minor was a long time coming, as debuts often are for artists, and getting it out also presents its own challenges. In this case, Alicia Keys starting at age 14 writing songs that would appear on this project. And 3 years prior to its release on J Records in 2001, this record was rejected by Columbia. Long story short, they weren't a good fit and Clive Davis bought her contract. One man's trash, right? Keys seemingly came out of nowhere, and with the support of the Davis machine immediately had everybody falling. That's not to take away from the artistry of this project. Keys wrote, arranged, and produced the majority of the album herself. That includes the marquee track from the album, Fallen, for which she is solely credited as the writer and producer. It was one of the last tracks to make the cut, but debuted at number 1, Where It Rained, for 6 weeks on the Billboard Hot 100, and helping to make Songs one of the best-selling albums of 2001. With tracks A Woman's Worth, Why Do I Feel So Bad, Troubles, and even a Prince remake of How Come You Don't Call Me, every song on the project demands your attention and them Grammys. Number 1, Alicia Keys, The Diary of Alicia Keys. Alicia Keys beat out R&B staples Al Green, Anita Baker, Prince, and Jill Scott to take home this award in 2005. It wasn't just the popularity of her sophomore effort debuting at number 1 and selling more than 600,000 copies in its first week, it's the potency of the storytelling on this record. This was an intimate peek into the pages of Alicia Keys that we didn't know we needed, and she delivered on every point. Keys again had major creative control over the project and enlisted the help from collaborators Carey Brothers Jr., Ye, Dre and Vidal, among others, to manifest the vision. With 3 top 10 singles, You Don't Know My Name, If I Ain't Got You, and Diary that drip with emotions, and supported by album tracks that were no less for not being released as official singles, Heartburn, produced by Timbaland, So Simple, which introduces Keys' alter ego, Laylo, and the Feeling You, Feeling Me interlude, which could have been at least 2 minutes longer. The diary of Alicia Keys is stacked. She managed to take the most appealing qualities of her debut album and elevate them with a richer sound, falling all over the spectrum spectrum of R&B, topping today's list. Some people are saying R&B is dead, but we don't think so. R&B continues to evolve and change. Tell us, who are some of your favorite classic and contemporary artists in soul and R&B? While you're at it, hit that like button, subscribe, and check out some of the other rankings we have on this channel, like this one. I'm QB. I'll see you next time.